Thank you for visiting the Combs Waterkotte website and our Federal Drug Charges Lawyer in Missouri website page. Regardless of the crime, we believe everyone is entitled to the best possible legal defense in the state of Missouri. We have created this audio version of our website page to help you protect your future, freedom, and reputation. If you have been charged with federal drug charges in the state of Missouri, we can help you. Don't face the state and court system alone during your federal drug charge. Contact one of our federal drug charges criminal defense lawyers today at 314-900, help to protect your rights and future. Combs Waterkotte is committed to handling all federal drug charges defense cases with confidential care and understanding. We are not here to judge you. We believe that everyone in Missouri, regardless of the crime they have been charged with, deserves an aggressive legal defense and to have their legal rights protected. With that being said, let's talk about federal drug charges in the state of Missouri. Federal drug charges lawyer, St. Louis, Missouri. Combs Waterkotte is a top-rated St. Louis, Missouri, criminal defense law firm that does not fear the might of the federal government. We have helped many people from across Missouri defend themselves against drug charges at all levels. Our firm provides an aggressive defense against all drug charges, working to ensure that your freedom and reputation are protected. Why federal drug charges in Missouri are serious? As part of what has long been known as the war on drugs, the U.S. government has enhanced and strengthened penalties against those convicted of drug crimes. The federal government has passed laws that set mandatory minimum sentencing standards for any drug conviction. If you're facing federal drug charges in St. Louis or anywhere in Missouri, you need an experienced criminal defense lawyer on your side immediately. The Combs Waterkotte attorneys have over 50 years of combined experience and have successfully defended more than 10,000 cases just like yours. Mandatory minimums vary from anywhere between 15 days in prison for simple possession of a controlled substance with one or more prior convictions to life in prison for drug kingpin laws, repeat offenders, or committing a violent felony with multiple prior convictions. These sentences also vary based on the amount of drugs in one's possession, as well as if you had a firearm in your possession when you were arrested. Federal drug charges also carry with them a number of other important features. Parole has largely been eliminated at the federal level, so if you are sentenced to a certain amount of time in prison, you will serve every day of that term. If you choose to sign a plea bargain, your rights to appeal your sentence will be severely limited, regardless of whether new evidence emerges that might exonerate you. Federal prosecutors and judges also rarely allow for home confinement or probation as a sentence. If you are convicted at the federal level, it is almost guaranteed you will spend time in a Bureau of Prisons facility. How do federal drug charges come about in Missouri? Federal drug charges are often brought about in cases involving illegal drugs such as cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, and prescription drugs, where there is a large quantity of drugs. Drugs are transported across state or international borders. You have a criminal history of drug charges, or you are an alleged member of a complex drug distribution ring or organization, cartel. What you should do if facing federal drug charges in St. Louis. Being charged with a federal drug crime is an extremely serious matter that requires immediate action. Unlike state charges, federal drug offenses often involve harsher penalties, lengthy federal prison sentences, and aggressive prosecution by federal agencies. If you are facing federal drug charges in St. Louis, here's what you should do to protect your rights and freedom. 1. Remain silent and do not speak to law enforcement. Federal investigators may try to question you to gather evidence against you. Remember, you have the right to remain silent. Do not answer any questions without your attorney present. Even if you believe you can explain your innocence, anything you say can and will be used against you. Simply but firmly say, "I am invoking my right to remain silent and request my attorney." 2. Contact an experienced federal drug charges lawyer. Federal drug cases require a skilled attorney licensed to practice in federal court, with extensive experience handling federal drug laws, mandatory minimum sentences, and plea negotiations. Our federal defense attorneys can analyze the evidence against you, identify weaknesses in the prosecution's case, negotiate for reduced charges or dismissal, build a strong defense for trial. 3. Understand the charges and potential penalties. Federal drug convictions can result in mandatory minimum sentences, meaning judges have little discretion in sentencing. The penalties depend on the type and quantity of drugs, your criminal history, and whether the offense involved weapons, violence, or proximity to schools. 4. Avoid contact with co-defendants and witnesses. If others were arrested with you, do not discuss your case with them. Law enforcement may monitor conversations or pressure individuals to testify against you. Speak only to your federal drug charges defense attorney. Avoid making statements that could be misinterpreted as obstruction of justice. 5. Preserve any evidence that may help your case. Your federal drug charges defense attorney will need to examine the details of your arrest, including how the evidence was obtained. Was there an illegal search and seizure? Was evidence mishandled or tampered with? Or were your rights violated through an unlawful wiretap? Our attorneys can spot any flaws in the prosecution's case and leverage them to get charges reduced or dismissed. 6. Explore possible defense strategies. Your defense strategy will depend on the specifics of your case, but you can discuss potentials with your attorney, including entrapment. If undercover agents coerced or pressured you into committing a crime you wouldn't have committed otherwise. Lack of intent or knowledge, proving you didn't knowingly possess or distribute drugs. Unlawful search and seizure. If law enforcement violated your Fourth Amendment rights, evidence could be suppressed. 7. Explore pretrial strategies and plea negotiations. Many federal drug cases never go to trial because prosecutors offer plea deals. An experienced federal drug charges defense attorney can negotiate for a reduced sentence or consider options like the federal safety valve, which can reduce mandatory minimums for nonviolent offenders. 8. Take federal drug charges seriously. Act now. Federal prosecutors have vast resources and aggressively pursue drug-related cases. You need to level the field with the Waterkotte federal drug charges legal team. Delaying action can jeopardize your case. The sooner you hire an experienced attorney, the better your chances. Your future is at stake. Get the legal defense you deserve. Call a federal drug charges lawyer now at 314-900-HELP or reach out online to discuss the specifics of your case. Understanding the differences between state and federal drug charges in Missouri. State and federal drug crimes differ in several crucial ways, primarily based on which jurisdiction handles the case and the laws that apply. Here's a breakdown of the main distinctions. Governing laws. Federal drug crimes are prosecuted under the United States Code USC, which applies nationwide. States' crimes, however, are governed by Missouri revised statutes, meaning laws and penalties can vary significantly depending on the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction. Federal drug crimes involve violations of U.S. government laws and typically include offenses that cross state lines, occur on federal property, or involve federal agencies, like large-scale drug trafficking. State drug crimes, though, are prosecuted under state laws and primarily involve drug possession or control, drug possession with intent to distribute, drug paraphernalia, or drug manufacturing. Investigative agencies. Federal drug crimes are investigated by agencies such as the DEA, FBI, and ATF, which have nationwide authority. State drug crimes are handled by local and state law enforcement, including city police, county sheriffs, and state troopers. Penalties. Federal drug offenses frequently carry harsher sentences, including significant fines, federal prison time, and strict probation terms. State drug penalties vary widely, depending on the specific laws, and can include fines, probation, jail, or state prison time. Prosecution and courts. Federal drug cases are prosecuted by U.S. attorneys in federal courts, overseen by federal judges. State drug crimes are handled by local prosecutors or district attorneys and are tried in state courts under Missouri laws. Jury selection. Federal juries are drawn from a larger geographic area, typically an entire federal district, resulting in a broader and more diverse jury pool. Missouri has 2 federal districts, East and West. State juries are selected from a more localized area, often reflecting the demographics of the specific county or jurisdiction. In addition, federal drug charges often are not the only federal charges you will be facing. Prosecutors often attach federal drug charges to other substantial allegations, such as money laundering charges or violations of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act. These are often punished just as, if not more, harshly compared to federal drug charges, so you will need to work with a defense attorney who understands the gravity of these additional charges. Call Combs Waterkotte now at 314-900-HELP, or reach out online for a free, confidential consultation with an expert federal drug crimes defense attorney. Why choose Combs Waterkotte to defend you against federal drug charges in St. Louis, Missouri? When facing federal drug charges in St. Louis, you need a defense attorney who combines unmatched experience in federal court with a strategic approach to your unique case. Our attorneys have a track record of success in federal drug cases, ensuring your rights and freedom are protected throughout the legal process. Here's why you should choose Combs Waterkotte for your federal drug charges defense. Extensive federal court experience, tailored strategic defense plans, profound understanding of federal sentencing guidelines, meticulous evidence examination, guidance on appeals and clemency, handling additional federal charges, round-the-clock availability, fearless at trial. How are federal drug charges different from state charges in St. Louis, Missouri? Federal drug charges differ significantly from state charges due to the involvement of federal law enforcement agencies and the application of federal sentencing guidelines. While state charges are handled at the local level, federal charges are prosecuted by U.S. attorneys, typically leading to harsher penalties. Federal drug cases often involve mandatory minimum sentences, limited parole, and stricter appeal options, making them more challenging to defend against. A federal drug charges lawyer that understands these differences is crucial when facing federal drug charges in St. Louis. Impact of a federal drug conviction on your rights and freedoms in St. Louis. Missouri, federal drug convictions can have a profound impact on your rights and freedom. These convictions can result in the loss of various rights, including the ability to vote, own firearms, and secure certain employment opportunities. Additionally, they often lead to the elimination of parole options, limited plea bargain opportunities, and severe restrictions on your ability to appeal your sentence. Understanding how these consequences affect your life is crucial when facing federal drug charges. Contact a skilled St. Louis, Missouri federal drug charges lawyer. At Combs Waterkotte, we are ready to take on federal prosecutors and fight against all the strategies they might use. When your freedom and rights are at stake, do not trust your federal drug case to anyone. Talk to the top-rated St. Louis drug charges lawyers at Waterkotte. Contact us online or call 314-900-HELP immediately to schedule a case review and learn more about how we can help you fight your federal drug charges.